Go ahead.
Pagdating ko po, Your Honor, noong October 2023 sa APECO, may isa pong licensee na nag-ooperate. Ang pangalan po ay Lucky Dragon. Po, puro Lucky ang mga ano. Bilang ano po, no, personally po, hindi po kasi talaga ako naniniwala sa sugal. Kanya, sinimulan ko pong kausapin ang Lucky Dragon kung po pwedeng hindi nila ituloy na ang kanilang operasyon. No? Hindi lamang yon sapagkat nung dumating ako sa APECO, nakita kong walang direksyon. Puro lamang gaming. No? At malinaw na hindi nagre-redound, no? ang benepisyo sa mamamayang Auroreño. Kaya nagkaroon po kami ng tinatawag na bagong strategic direction wherein we pivoted away from gaming, Mr. Chairman and Your Honors. Kaya inunti-unti ko po nakausapin ang may-ari ng Lucky Dragon. At ang naging puhunan ko po ay ang atay ko. Inuman ako sa kanila at sasabihin ko sa kanila, sinabi ko sa kanila na ayoko ng sugat. Without firing po a single shot, pumayag naman po ang Lucky Dragon. Pero nung simula, ang sabi nila kung maaari daw munang amyendahan ang lease agreement. Alam ko po na ako'y nakikipag-negotiate. Hindi po kasi ako naniniwala na papaalisin ko sila at babanatan nila ako sa korte at magbababagan kami sa korte. Sa dulo, mga big time ito. So ayoko po nun. Kaya kinausap ko lang sila ng kinausap. Sige, sabi ko, dahil tayo ay nagninegosasyon, yung 1,000 square meter na ino-occupy nila na administration building. By the way po, yun po ang nakakalungkot dito kasi pagdating ko, yung admin building, list out po yung the entire admin building. And our employees po were cramped in a small 2 villas and 3 makeshift office spaces made from container vans. Habang yung aming grandiosong admin building ay inuukupa po ng Lucky Dragon. So, dahil nakikipagnegosasyon ako, sige, sabi ko, ibalik nyo na ang 3/4 ng admin building. Sige, dyan muna kayo sa operation center ninyo. At nakiusap pa sila, pati yung cafeteria, ibinigay ko po. So, pero binigyan ko po sila ng hanggang June this year na mag-totally vacate. Sa awa naman po ng Panginoon, Mayo pa lang po, nag-vacate na po ang Lucky Dragon. Kahit po at naging kaibigan ko pa po actually, yung mga may-ari. At hindi sila nag-file ng case, umalis po sila. And sa ngayon po, piniprepare na po namin sa APECO ang isang policy paper na ipipresenta po namin sa APECO board, no? At na mismong APECO ibaban ang lahat ng online gaming sa APECO. Sapagkat pag tiningnan po natin Mr. Chair, ang mandato ng APECO, ang charter ng APECO, pwede po kami na mag-issue ng mga lisensya. This time sa PIGO na lang. Dahil meron na may rider po kasi yung batas na nagtatak sa mga POGOs na inililipat po ang pag-issue ng lahat ng mga lisensya patungong PAGCOR, pati ang pag-regulate po, nasa PAGCOR na po. Inilipat na po ng ating pamahalaan, no? At gusto pang ikutan yon. Ang kasunod na hinihingi sa akin, authority to operate. Sa PIGO naman, sabi ko mas maano ito, hindi ko, lalong ayaw ko ito sapagkat itong PIGO, ang tataya rito yung mga lokal na eh. Hindi lang yung mga nandoon sa labas ng bansa. So, yun po yung kwento, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman and Your Honor, nung APECO.
Salamat, admin. No? Ang
Last question, Congressman Lara.
yes, nung na-issuehan nyo ba nung merong license ba itong nag-ooperate sa inyo, sa loob lang ba ito nag-ooperate? Hindi ito nag-ooperate outside your area?
Yes po, Your Honor. Yung nakita ko po doon mismo sa loob.
Sa loob lang?
Nag-ooperate sila. At ang malungkot po niyan na Mr. Chairman and Your Honor, Your Honors, halos isinara po ang APECO sa tao, sa turista. Kaya nga po, nung dumating ako, miski po yung mayor ng Kasiguran na ama ng bayan, matindi po ang tampo sa APECO. Dahil siya mismo, kailangan niyang maghintay ng 10 minuto, 15 minuto, 20 minuto bago siya makapasok ng APECO. Dahil nakasara nga po.
Okay.
Last question lang, Mr. Chair.
May I remind the members that the session for today were already canceled by the speaker and suspended na ang pasok ng executive, and we're the only one who are working here right now.
Last question,
and right
Mr.
here.
Chair.
And kaya nga, I would like to remind the members that you still have like 3 to interpolate, and we might be stuck in this room because baha na raw sa labas.
Yeah.
So
Just one question.
Anyway, I
clarification.
haven't prepared any dinner,
Yeah.
and also wala tayong tutulugan dito, so kanya-kanya tayong uwi mamaya.
Para matapos na.
Jojo Lara, last na po yan, briefly.
Last question. I will reserve my questioning for next hearing na lang, Mr. Balikan ko lang si Chairman Al. Yung lahat po ng na-issuehan nyo dati na mga IGL or POGO, may particular address, di ba, to operate?
Opo, site-specific po ang lahat ng lisensya at nandun po yung address nung kumpanyang pinagkalooban ng lisensya, Congressman Lara.
Chair, hindi po pwedeng mag-operate outside yan sa in-approve nyo. Tama ba ako doon?
Hindi po. At yun po ang ini-inspect, yung site na yun, kaya po tinatawag namin site-specific, yun po ang binibisita ng monitoring team ng PAGCOR. Kaya po hindi po nila pwedeng gawin na ilipat yon sa ibang lugar.
Okay.
Okay.
Yun lang po.
So,
Chairman, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm done po. I'm done.
Okay,
And you are done
next-
also.
yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so the chair would like to recognize Congressman Ambrosio Cruz, and then Congressman Jong, you still have you will how about no. Okay, thank you, Congressman Ambrosio.
Thank you,
please.
Mr. Chair. Sa tagal ko rito, ang dami kong natutuhan. So nakita natin na yung 298 na mga illegal POGO or IGL identified na, at I think ito naman nandiyan ang PAOK, nandiyan ang DILG, at susundan lahat ito. Pangalawa, nakita natin na naging problema. Certainly, there are a lot of lapses as far as doon sa LGU ng PORAC is concerned. But the good mayor is a good friend of mine. Kilala ko to, alam kong matino ito. Maliwanag din naman na binubuksan niya yung kanyang bank record sa AMLAC, may permit, just para maipakita na matunay lang yung kanyang intensyon. But ito is a learning experience to all LGU. I've been a mayor for 18 years. Sa totoo lang, ngayon pa lamang dun sa bayan ko at dun sa sakupan ko, nagpa-order na kami ng talagang inspection, talaga yung team para umikot. So these are all the learning experience na nangyari because of this hearing. Pero ako, I am more concerned doon sa 43 ng mga legal na ngayon, because of the order of the President, ay sasarado. Ang tanong ko, address ko sa Chairman Altenco, how do you propose to scale down this operation and to ultimately close it by year end? Yun po ang aking tanong.
Okay, Chair, please.
Chairman, salamat po. Kong Boy, actually, kaninang umaga po, nag-usap na kami ni Secretary Benher Abalos, Secretary Benny Laguesma, at gayon din po, kausap ko na rin yung grupo sa PAGCOR. Kami po ay magtatatag ng isang parang task force. Nang sa ganon ay una, makita po natin lahat ng kakailanganing gawin. Dahil siguro po, ang pinakamahalaga yung ano po talaga yung mga steps na dapat gawin. At bukod po doon, ay sa tagubilin din po kagabi ng Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, ang mahalaga po ay matulungan din yung mawawalan ng hanap buhay. Bagamat itong ating gagawing exercise ay para na nga mawala na yung masamang imahe, mawala na yung mga criminal activities na nagaganap na ginagamit lamang ang lisensya ng PAGCOR para maisat katuparan ng mga criminal activities. Ang mas mahalaga po na pinag-usapan namin kaninang umaga nila Secretary Laguesma ay yung paano natin matutulungan yung himigit kumulang sa 40,000
Chair.
mga
Chair, ang ganda
Yes.
rin sinabi mo, nakinig ako sa iyo. With all due respect with Congressman Ambrosio, no? A while ago, I halted the DOLE, no? In presenting their presentation with regards to those 40,000, no? And basically, we were able to discuss a lot of things, no? Sa LGU, sa PNP, sa PAOK. But yung 40,000 na mawawalan ng trabaho, I think meron silang presentation about it, no, Dole? Am I right na yun ang tinutumbok ng presentation ninyo?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
So, with the permission of the members of these two committees, we will be allowing, ako per se, I really wanted to find out also that area. But I really wanted to focus muna sa mga criminal activities eh. And since na naman tayo, para-up up na rin tayo, Congressman Ambrosio, will you allow after your query, allow the DOLE to present briefly yung gagawin nila sa mga mawawalan ng trabaho na 42,000 people?
Okay lang.
Okay lang. Are you done with your
No, no.
questions? Sige, go ahead.
Opo. So, sasagutin ko lang. Opo. Yung how we will wind down, sabi ko nga po kay Secretary Abalos sa usapan namin kaninang umaga, ang mahalaga po talaga rito ay yung issue nung sana nga hindi magpatuloy ang gawain ito sa pamamagitan ng pagiging illegal or underground. Kaya po, inumpisahan na po ni Secretary Abalos no Sabado, kasama po ang PAO, kasama po ang buong kapulisan, kasama po ang PAGCOR, nandun din po ang DOJ, ipagpapatuloy po namin yung pag-ikot sa iba't ibang na-identify namin na bayan at probinsya para po maipaliwanag namin sa mga iba't ibang gobernador at mayor. Kailangan po natin ng tulong talaga rito ng mga LGU. Kasi sila po ang nasa ground at sila po ang makapagtuturo sa atin. Ngayon na by January 1, 2025, bawal na talaga ang lahat. Inuulit ko yung lahat. Sila pong nasa ground ngayon ang makakaalam at makapagsasabi at makapagbibigay ng informasyon sa ating lahat kung sino pa yung nagpapatuloy ng mga gawain na yan. Kaya po, desidido po kami ni Secretary Abalos, tutuloy po kami sa Cebu sa 1 linggo, and then kung saan po meron talagang mga alam kaming doon sa binigay na impormasyon ng PAOK na meron talagang mga still ongoing operations ng mga walang mga lisensya. So yan po, Congressman Boy, ang gagawin namin para po hopefully talagang paglipat po ng taon, totally wala na pong ano yan. Pero isa talaga pong malaking hamon yan, Kong Boy. Hindi lang po sa amin, sa PAGCOR, sa PAOK, sa DILG, sa Kapulisan, dahil isa po talagang malaking gawain itong ating kailangan pagkaisahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Maganda ho, no? Pero ang isa kong concern din dito, yung 43 na mga compliant ito ng mga investor na matitino, pagkatapos biglang masasarado. Baka we'll be sending mixed signals doon sa mga good investors dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. Papaano rin natin sila tutulungan? So tutulungan natin yung mga empleyado, sisiguraduhin natin na hindi dadami itong illegal, but at the end of the day, how do we help yung talagang nag-invest dito na matino na ngayon biglang masasarado?
Oh, yun po ay talagang pinag-usapan namin ng PAGCOR team, paliliwanagan at nagmula na po kasi naman ang order sa Pangulo ng Pilipinas. Kongboy, mabanggit ko lang, kaninang umaga lang may natanggap na akong tawag sa isang kumpanya na may lehitimong lisensya. Sila po ay grupo ng mga Singaporean na tulay na magsimula nung nabigyan ng lisensya ng PAGCOR ay naging maayos. Sabi nga nila pati ba kami madadamay dyan sa kalokohan ng iba. So, yun po anong tinutumbok ninyo at palagay ko po magiging problema din namin sa PAGCOR yan kung paano mapapaliwanagan sila. Naintindihan ko po kayo kung saan nagmumula kayo. At yan na rin po ang magiging malaking hamon sa akin para makumbinsi sila na talagang ito'y ginagawa para sa kabutihan ng buong bansa. Yun lang po, Kongboy.
Thank you, Chairman Al. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
thank you so much, Congressman Ambrosio Cruz. So, before the chair recognize Congressman Adjong, Dole, so, para makita lang natin yung yung inyong magiging plano para sa ating
Mr.
42,000 employees.
Si Jerome na lang ang mag-represent.
Maraming salamat po, Yusek Egargo. May we request po the Secretariat to flash our presentation on the last 2 slides na lang po.
Okay, asan yung technical, sinong technical natin? Okay na, ready na ba kayo?
Okay,
Sa last 2 slides na lang po. Yeah. Maraming salamat po. Previous slide po. Yan po. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair, for inviting the DOLE
Sige, go ahead.
committee. Gusto lang po naming sabihin na meron na po kaming datos ng bilang ng mga Filipino mula po sa PAGCOR. Pero ang DOLE po ay magsasagawa pa po ng sarili po nitong inspection sa mga establishment para masiguro po natin na lahat ng mga Filipinos ay makocover po ng aming data. At meron na po kaming memorandum sa mga DOLE regional offices po namin na magkakandak po sila ng skills mapping. Una po sa lahat, Mr. Chair, Department of Labor and Employment will profile lahat ng mga Filipino workers doon po sa mga POGOs. Meron po tayong tinatawag na mga direct workers at meron po mga indirect workers. Yung mga indirect workers po na to, ito po yung mga nagtatrabaho sa mga foreign nationals o hindi direkta doon sa mga establishment ng POGO. Sila rin po ay bibigyan po natin ng serbisyo. Sa pamamagitan po ng profiling po natin, malalaman po natin yung iba't ibang mga kailangan ng ating mga Filipino workers. Bibigyan po natin sila ng either job matching, referral and placement services, career development support services. Dito po malalaman natin ano ba yung gusto nilang trabaho. Gusto ba nila yung dun din sa kanilang locality o willing po sila na magtrabaho sa labas ng kanilang locality. Nagbibigay din po tayo ng labor market information kung sa gayon ay malaman po natin kung ano yung mga trabahong gusto pa nilang trabahuhin bukod sa current na trabaho po nila. Magbibigay din po ng skills development opportunities sa pamamagitan ng referral ng DOLE sa iba't ibang mga agencies gaya ng TESDA at reskilling and upskilling programs po. Ang goal po ng ating profiling at pagbibigay ng public employment services programs ay para pasok po sila sa wage employment or self-employment. Next slide po. Specifically, Mr. Chair, ang mga nagtatrabaho po sa POGO na mawawalan ng trabaho ngayon dahil sa pronouncement ng ating Pangulo ay mabibigyan po ng unemployment insurance benefit. Ito po ay in coordination with the SSS. Mabibigyan po sila ng 1 month na kanilang average na sweldo. At ito ay bibigay kapag po nagkaroon na po ng closure yung mga establishment. Once na mabigyan na po ng unemployment insurance benefit yung ating mga Filipino workers, magsasagawa po ang DOLE, nakikipag-coordinate na po kami sa IT BPM or sa IT Business Processing Management Industry para sa job fair na i-conduct para sa kanila specifically. At doon naman po sa mga Filipino workers na below 35 years old na willing maging minimum wage earner, sila po ay magiging potential na enrollees po sa ating government internship program po.
Okay, kasi hindi naman kasi ganyan ka-abrupt yung mangyayari dahil nga meron naman hanggang December. So, still, the DOLE and PAGCOR can work together in order to safeguard the work of these people na mawawala ng trabaho. No? So, okay na tayo dun. So, I think we don't have to focus on this anymore, and we are very thankful sa DOLE for that presentation. Kahit maikli lang po siya, but at least alam ng ating mga kababayan that we're doing something on this. Okay, so Congressman Adjong, since last interpellator, you have the floor.
Thank you, Joint Chairs. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Mr. Chair, let me just go back a little bit. This is in line, this is partly in line with the questioning of Congresswoman Luistro and the Chair, Dan Fernandez. Let me just first ask Undersecretary Cruz, para lang maintindihan po ng kabuuan, because I believe we're talking about two entities here, no? Relative to PORAC, the operation of POGO, which you raided sometime last month, right? So we're talking about two, Whirlwind Corporation, and what's the other one? Lucky South. So Whirlwind Corporation is the owner of the land where the building was constructed, right?
Yes.
So the building is owned by which company?
Yeah, the building, sir, is Lucky South 99.
So Lucky South 99. So dalawa po yung pinag-uusapan po natin dito, Mr. Chair. So I just like to ask, is it correct that based on your documents, the list of incorporators, as you submitted to the chairman, most of them are questionable with questionable citizenship?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so one of the major stockholders or incorporators in the dun po sa owner of the land is, can you state her the name again?
Nasaan ba yung ano natin? I don't have the record, but I can ask.
Mr. Chair, do we have that record there?
About what?
About the list kasi, dalawa pong pinag-uusapan natin dito, yung lupa at yung building. Opo.
Ng anong
gusto ko lang
area?
pong- yeah,
Porac?
I just want to Porac.
PORAC is under the Whirlwind.
Yeah, Whirlwind. Is that correct?
And the operation is under the Lucky South 99 Outsourcing Incorporated, then amended to Lucky South 99 Corporation. So they have four corporations, Congressman Adjong, sa PORAC. That is one outsourcing, then amended to corporation, then Whirlwind, and then the other is the global, I think, Lucky South 99 Global Corporation.
Yeah, okay.
Sige.
Thank you. Can I ask Mr. Chair, SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, before they be granted with the with the SEC registration of these companies, of course you first vet the names of the incorporators. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And based on the list that you have submitted, let's talk about the Whirlwind Corporation first, okay? Based on the submitted documents and the incorporators, how would you classify them? Are they foreign investors or local investors? Check.
For Whirlwind Corporation, it's considered a local corporation.
Local corporation by virtue of the names of the incorporators, which is now under question.
Oh, well, sa kanila local corporations, no, but it has been established. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sige, go ahead. Kasi na-establish
Kasi
na
gusto ko
natin.
lang maintindihan, Mr. Chair, because I want to know kung how do they confirm if they have a mechanism in the SEC kasi meron tayong Foreign Investment
Yeah.
Act, 'di ba? So it's basically a constitutional provision that only 40% of foreign-owned companies can be actually owned
Allowed,
by foreigners.
yeah. Go ahead,
Gusto ko
ano?
lang this is an area of legislation. So I'd like to know from the SEC if how do they do? They have a process in which they would determine, confirm the nationalities or citizenship of these incorporators.
Mr. Chair, based on the records that we have for Whirlwind, they are considered a Filipino or a local corporation because 60% of their authorized capital stock belongs to Filipinos, while only 40% belongs to Chinese.
Which
So,
is-
according to jurisprudence, they are considered
Yeah.
a local company which could own properties.
So, yeah, but that's actually the ano. Pero my question is, how would you vet? Do you have a system where you can really confirm with all this development going on, with this new allegation of Chinese questionable citizenship? What would you say about your process in granting or giving license or permit to a company na meron ano? So basically, how would you determine that? Because the Foreign Investment Act would serve with no purpose if from the very start, I think the SEC basta lang meron lang silang Pilipino, tapos okay na, gagrant lang namin ng local companies. In your current status and the mandate that you have, is there a way for the SEC to determine really if these incorporators are really Filipino citizens or not? Para mabigyan po ng saysay yung batas na Foreign Investment Act natin na nakalaan naman po dun sa constitutional provision which is only 40% of the stocks of the company can be owned by foreigners.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We are one with the committee in terms of protecting the nationality restrictions of the Constitution. So far, if the investment activities or the operating activities of a corporation would involve a nationalized activity, then we do a stricter check with regard to the incorporators and stockholders if they would really comply with the percentages requirement. So we make sure that the foreign shareholdings are within the limits set by the Constitution. With regard to verifying whether or not these incorporators are really Filipinos, we share a similar sentiment with the other agencies because we can only rely insofar as the government-issued identification that they present with us.
That leads us, Mr. Chair, again to registry of yung local civil registry of PORAC. Have we invited Mr. So ibig sabihin you rely on the documents essentially submitted to you by the PSA?
Yes, Mr. Chair, because we have no jurisdiction or authority to determine whether or not a person who presents himself to be a Filipino but is alleged by someone else to be of another citizenship to determine that he is not really a Filipino citizenship, Filipino citizen, Mr.
But
Chair.
is it correct that part of the granting of permits, registration, you also require for a company to divulge to you their initial capitalization?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we require that.
And can I also request, Mr. Chair, if possible, kung kayo ba sa SEC dapat ang mag-submit po sa committee ito yung financial statement and yung capitalization na sinubmit ng Whirlwind?
We have that record, Mr. Chair.
And have you submitted that to this committee?
We submitted, as regards Whirlwind, their GIS, and we'll just check. As regards
can I
audit.
ask Mr. Chair, our COMSEC, if she can confirm whether SEC submitted to us the financial statement and the capitalization as required for Whirlwind Company to provide SEC before they've been granted the license as a company, Mr. Chair?
Okay, you might send us also, submit to this committee those required documents that was asked by Congressman Adjong. Together with the, later on, the SEC, the BIR, please get the list of those companies na illegal pogos. Meron na rin kayong mga legal? Meron din kayo list ng mga legal, di ba?
Mr. Chair, we have the legal. So, as to the
Illegal na lang,
illegal,
illegal na lang.
yes, Mr.
Okay.
Because the problem that I see, Mr. Chair, here is that we don't know whether these companies are run by dummies. Diba? Ganun po yung problema eh. In the end, malalaman natin, bigla na lang tayo magugulat, mga Chinese nationals pala. So, I think for this committee to be able to really address the gaps in the law, I think we need the participation of SEC and maybe arm them with the verification process by which they do not only rely with the the civil registry, in this case, the local registry of PORAC. By the way, Mr. Chair, have we invited the local registry office of PORAC?
Local civil registry.
So local civil registry of PORAC.
Mr. Chair, based on the record that was flashed on the screen, Catherine Cassandra Ong is not registered in PORAC. The birth was not registered in PORAC.
Where was
Mr. Chair.
Where was she born?
She was born in China.
No, I mean the papers that yung
Well,
yung questionable na papers.
Congressman Adjong, a while ago, we presented the birth certificate of Cassandra Ong and the father of Cassandra Ong. And it shows that she was a Chinese citizen and born in China. So we have presented that a while ago, but basically we have established that in the yung ginamit niya sa PSA, that late registration, pinanganak siya sa San Juan.
Yun nga, Mr. Chair, puro
Oo.
late registration. Tama nga
Same
po yung
ano
observation nyo.
You know, the same situation that we have discussed with Congressman Paduano and Congressman
So maybe if she was not born in PORAC as the admin intimated to us just now, which local civil registry do we need to invite? Because if the citizenship is in question, I really want to know from that office how she was able to secure citizenship.
we have invited the PSA and also the immigration, the in and out of Cassandra. At least malalaman natin kung what she uses, no? And at the same time, the last time that we have discussed that, the resource persons from DOJ and Bureau of Immigration have shown us yung mga personalities that what they presented to us, all the documents pertaining to the ins and outs of those people we wanted to find out. And rightly, na-submit naman sa atin. And that's the reason why we have found out that sila, Eddie Yang, are not Filipinos. Si Willie Ong, hindi sila mga Filipinos. And they owned vast of lands in Pampanga. And now, yun din ang gagawin natin dito kay Catherine Ong.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, may I ask DOJ po? Gusto ko lang pong maintindihan yung proseso. Granting that the personalities that were mentioned here, whose citizenship are in question, and therefore would affect the nature of the company in itself, like Whirlwind companies, di ba? Apparently, mukhang puros Chinese yan. But before that, ano pong nangyari sa property Yusek Cruz? Yung sa PORAC, ano pong ginawa ninyo? Napadlock na ba? Wala nang operation?
It's under a preservation order signed by Executive Secretary
So
Lucas Bersamin.
what was the proposal or recommendation of your office on what the government would do with this property?
Criminal forfeiture will be eventually filed.
Okay. Because if I heard the
PORAC
chairman
approval.
correctly, he said it should be to the advantage of the government, which I agree.
Yes, sir.
So what is your recommendation? Yusek Cruz.
Yes, sir. Same thing, sir. After probably the forfeiture that we won, probably we can convert that into a university, perhaps, Your Honor.
Again, but these are based on the records, no, kung papaniwalaan po natin at yun nang bibigyan natin ng credence, mukhang private property nga po sila, no? Itong own na to. So that's why I want to ask DOJ. Granting that the recommendation of PAOK TF na na-approve natin na hindi dapat mapunta ito sa mga hindi Pilipino at apart from the illegal operation, can you enlighten me as to the process of sequestering these properties? What is the sequestration? Yeah.
The
please.
procedure is, I think the AMLAC, the author, is the one in charge of forfeiting or filing cases for forfeiture, not the Department of Justice, because insofar as the prosecution is concerned, we will be filing a case in court, including the criminal forfeiture. So if the case is qualified trafficking in persons against the traffickers or promoting trafficking in persons, criminal forfeiture will be included in the information.
So the cases that will be filed is partly about sequestering the property.
Yes, sir. Yes,
in favor of
the government.
So the government. So that's where the recommendation of PAOK TF comes into play. Like it might be converted to hospitals,
yes.
etc. Now, which leads me to my next question, Mr. Chair. Sa local government ng Porac. Of course, before they were granted the permit to occupy, nag-ano po kayo, no? Sabi niyo po kanina.
Last question, Congressman Ajo.
Ang bilis naman. Ang bilis ko magsalita. Ha?
Last na yan.
Last na
You
ba?
still have the time. You still have all the time in the world. You're still young.
Yes, okay. So, tama po ba yung pagkarinig ko sa inyo kanina na bago ho kayo naluklok sa inyong opisina, nandyan na po sila nag-ooperate or
Hindi naman po yung building lang
yung building
doon
lang
sa
nandyan.
yung Thai court po
So na-occupy na po nila, nag-ooperate?
hindi po, ina-apply pa lang po nila noong 2019, Your Honor.
Okay, so hindi ho ba based on doon sa isa sa mga requirement para mabigyan ho sila ng either permit to occupancy and permit to operate, is that you also require them to submit to you the bill of materials of the building that was used for this construction? Tama ho ba
Maybe
yun?
the engineer.
Kasi I think that would also matter on the determination of your local government to assess the value of the property and thereafter the taxes that they need to pay. Am I correct, Mayor?
Yes. With regards to building, Your Honor, can I...
na lang, opo. Pwede lang po sumagot, Mr. Chair, or kailangan nyo na i-suspend ito? Sige po.
Based on record po, nag-submit po sila ng bill of materials. Doon po sa 42 buildings, Your Honor, yung bill of materials nila is 1,070 million pesos po.
Ano po? 1 million?
1 billion.
1 billion.
70 million po.
Yung mismong
Yung applied building po.
applied building.
Opo.
Yung sa assessor po, paano na-assess ito yung value ng property na to for them to be able to know exactly how much chargeable in terms of their taxes that they need to pay for the LGU? Kasi parang kanina narinig ko po sa BPLO, if I may correct, parang ang dapat ang babayaran nila is nasa 3 billion po ba o 30 million? Sinabi niyo po? Sino ba yung nagsabi?
Mr. Chair, that figure came from the PAGCOR,
PAGCOR.
Mr. Chair.
Tama po ba? Sorry Kasi medyo matagal ho ako nag-antay dito. Nag-mix up na po yung mga sagot ninyo. Chairman Tenko, pagkano po ba yung dapat na babayaran? Kasi mukhang dapat mas malaki nga po yung dapat na babayaran nila eh.
Opo. Kung
Ito na, Lucky 99 na to Hindi na to yung Whirlwind Company. Kaya nga gusto kong i-compartmentalize ni issue para maintindihan po nating taong bayan kasi mukhang nagja-juggle po yung information dito. So magkano po talaga?
sa side po ng PAGCOR, ang binayad po nila ay 181 million. So, kung kinumbert po natin yun, dapat po, dahil business outsourcing nga, dapat po 3 billion ang gross income nun per annum.
On the value of the building that was submitted to you prior to their permit to operate.
Mr. Chair, the buildings as they stand
Ganito
now.
na lang po kasi mukhang kailangan din ho natin umuwi. Nagdeklara nga po presidente na dapat wala na akong opisina ngayon. Pero pwede po mag-submit na lang po kayo. Ha?
We will do that, Mr. Chair.
Yung total value of the building, yung pag-assess ng inyong mga assessor para ma-determine po natin kung magkano po talaga yung hindi lang yung pag-illegal na operation nila, pero ano po dapat yung isisingilin ng inyong bayan at ng PACOR, ha?
We will do that, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Do I still have time, Mr. Chair? I presume I have. Okay. So, ganito na lang po kasi baka nagmamadali po si Chair. So, sa ano po, baka sa ano rin po ito, sa, I don't know if this is, sa annual business permit application po prior to every year, no? Sa PORAC. Dinideclare na ba, dapat ho nila declare yung kanilang employees, hindi ho ba? Empleyado? Because I understand in every business permit registration, they have to declare the number of their employees, no?
Opo,
correct?
sir.
And how many foreigners were declared? And how many locals?
Actually, sir,
This is an annual.
Opo, actually, they have renewed po from 2019 po, from their inception until 2023. However, based on records po, parang ang na-declare lang nila is around 5 to 4 employees.
And part of your verification, do you also require them to submit to their visa status, whether they're on working visa or what? For the foreign,
Kung
hire?
foreign, hindi na po namin siya ini-specify kasi, sir, kung are your employees Filipino or foreigners?
But this is a POGO operation, so we presume most of them are foreigners. Common sense would dictate to you that you need to request them to declare how many foreign nationals, workers do they have in their company and how many locals.
I understand your point, sir. However, during that time po siguro,
Remember, this is a yearly requirement, ha?
opo, it's
Kasi
a
part
yearly
po sa
requirement.
requirement nila is yung medical certificate.
Opo.
Hindi ho ba?
Opo.
Para mabigyan ho sila ng permit to be employed.
Opo,
At
opo.
malay mo, may sakit pa na pala yun. Hindi na po pwedeng makihilahok sa mga ibang tao. So, ano po masasabi niyo doon, ma'am?
For me po, I understand your point that it's really common sense. You should really ask. And actually, under our new tax code po ng PORAC, kasi by the time po na umupo si Mayor, he saw that there's a need to update the tax code.
But do you have, like, for example, what you inherited? But you were there in the office even prior to the assumption of Mayor
Wala po, sir. I only assumed office last May.
on how your predecessor requested for these documents before their for yearly registration. Di ba? Ganito na lang kasi mukhang gusto Mr. Chair, I would like to request, Mr. Chair, the local government of PORAC to submit to us the yearly declaration of the workers of Lucky Star 99 para ma-determine po natin yung how many are the foreigners and how many are the locals, no? Locally, kasi if I may recall it correctly, the previous committee hearing that we had, I asked PAGCOR, ang sabi po nila, supposed to be 90%, no? Tama po ba? 90% ay yung IGL ba yun o GIL?
Sa SCBPO yun po.
Yun yung bagong recommendation ninyo.
Hindi po. Sa SBPO po sang pangkasalukuyan, 90% po ang Filipino, mga 10% lang po ang foreigners. Dito naman po sa IGL, sa ngayon po 1:1.
So yung po sir, yung Lucky 99, ibig sabihin, I presume na 90% of their workers are foreign nationals.
So po,
That's why I want to know.
Depende po kasi hindi ko po alam talaga ano ba sila. BPO, sila ba'y POGO? Kung BPO po, 90% dapat Filipino, 10% foreigner. Kung Pogo po, dapat po halos 1:1 eh.
Kaya nga gusto ko po mong balikan uli.
Opo, na ano na eh.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Thank you for that. Gusto ko lang pong balikan kayo. Please submit to us kasi mukhang mag-aalas 6 na rin at wala na dapat tayo dito. So can you submit to us, part of the business permit registration, the number of their employees, which are locals.
Teng.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Diba sabi
Thank
ko
you
siya,
po.
bilis ko magsalita. Mr. Chair, so marami pong
Thank you po.
salamat. Thank you.
Okay, so before the chair, okay.
Mag-register na lang po ako sa next committee hearing na magpaano. Thank you.
Before I recognize Congressman Akop para sa huli nating interpellator, Congressman Akop, let me i-acknowledge lang natin yung presence ng NTC, PLDT, dito Smart. Nandito sila we invited. Nandito kayo, di ba, yung sa telecommunication? Ayun, nandun sila. Can you kindly sit here, yung mga telecom? Kasi the reason why we invited you over, because nakita natin that so many cell phones were confiscated by PAOK TF. At sa lahat ng mga cellphone na yon, it was established by the PAOK TF that they were able to prove, no? And I told them to bring the equipment. Yung equipment using the different SIM can be owned by one person. So yung ating national ID system that was approved by Congress is somehow defective. And we wanted to find out the reason why this is happening. The very reason that this national ID system was crafted and drafted and approved was para iisa na lang yung ating SIM card. But unfortunately, again, in this operation of POGO, it was revealed by the PAOK TF that they can use different SIM cards. And most likely, Yusek, Gilbert, hindi natin dala yung ating machine.
We'll bring it on the next hearing, sir.
Yun na nga. Kaya nga, na-hold yung pagtatanong natin sa mga NTC. Can you kindly state your name and your position sa telcos?
Mr. Chair, I am Attorney Kenneth Reganion from Smart's Regulatory Affairs.
Smart, okay.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, I am Attorney Kent Avestruz from PLDT Regulatory.
PLDT, yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, honorable members. I'm Attorney Gilbert Bautista, also from PLDT
From
Regulatory.
PLDT. Smart, PLDT, and
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good evening.
Chairman. Good evening, Chairman. I'm Attorney Nino Martin Cruz from Dito Telecommunity Corporation.
Ayan, sige. I'm sorry, Congressman Akop, okay lang po, kapraso lang to na para at least, ano lang po to yung tanong lang natin sa inyo na, di ba tayo, meron kayong mga, what do you call that, distributors, di ba, pag sa SIM card, ibinibigay nyo yan sa mga accredited na mga distributor para doon sa SIM card. At pag binili yun, ay blanco, di ba? Wala siyang pangalan, no? Ibinibigay lang natin sa mga distributor. At itong distributor na to, pupunta sa isang mga area, sila yung allowed doon, sila yung magbebenta nun. Correct? Correct. So how can you guarantee that yung binenta nila ay yung isang tao lamang ang gagamit talaga nun? Kasi parang ang nangyayari ngayon, since na nakuha ng PAOK TF niyan, that nasubukan na isang SIM card pwedeng gamitin ni co-chairman na 10 SIM card yung kanya. Because very crucial to, no? Kasi this was being used for transmitting yung transfer of financial transaction eh. Di ba? Pagkagamit nila, na-transfer nila, GCash or whatever, then para hindi naman, tapo na yung SIM card. Bili na naman sila dun sa distributor nyo. So, walang safeguard yung ating mga ang ating bansa with this kung ibibigay na lang natin basta-basta sa mga distributor yung mga SIM card na yon. So, can you kindly educate me on this? Anong ginagawa ng mga telcos about this?
Mr. Chair, when we distribute our SIM cards to distributors,
blanco po sila, hindi po sila activated, and it will only be activated pag na-register nung end user nung SIM card.
So halimbawa ako yung binigyan mo ng nung karapatan magbenta nun. Tapos bibenta ko kay SDS. So i-register niya yung SIM card. Pag na-register niya yon, yun na yon.
Yes, as end user, siya po dapat lang
So
mag-register.
halimbawa bumili siya ng another SIM card, mag-register sa uli ng another name. Is that possible?
Possible po kasi yung walang limit po sa registration per person. Po pwedeng one person, multiple registration or multiple SIMs.
So yun ang problem natin kasi nga kung halimbawa multiple. Yusek, ano nangyari din sa mga na-discover nyo?
Your Honor, pinadala na po namin sa ACG yung iba. These are every Pogo hubs na nare-raid namin, sir. We discovered thousands of SIM cards. Hindi lang, sir, 10 or these are thousands of SIM cards. And actually, if you will open, sir, yung Facebook mo and then you go to Marketplace and then you type pre-registered SIM cards, you can see a lot of these SIM cards being sold sa Marketplace ng Facebook online. They're being sold right now, sir, sa online.
Yun.
So, kung makikita mo, sir, marami itong mga
So, kung free for everybody yan, yung mga SIM cards na yan, so nothing change. So, yung ating national ID system that we approved, it's nonsense. Dahil nga yung, yung intention niya, na ma-manipulate.
Yes, sir.
So,
actually,
we
sir,
need to...
yung isang tao, yung isang buhay, isang SIM card lang ang katapat, sir. Kasi yun ang panloloko nila ron sa tao, sir. That's it, sir. Alis na sila.
Kaya nga, so kung halimbawa ako yung scammer, dahil nga my intention is to lokohin yung aking kausap, after that, itatapon ko na lang yan. NTC, sige, we'll be asking NTC about anong mga procedure that we have to follow in order to correct this kind of problem.
Good
Sige,
afternoon,
NTC.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, under the SIM Registration Act right now, there is no limit as to the number of SIMs that a subscriber or end user may register in his name. And the law also allows up to 17 types of IDs as it is right now. Mr. Chair.
Hello. So in other words, one person is allowed to have multiple
SIMs, Your Honor. The law did not prescribe a limit.
I didn't know that. So legal pala ang pagkuha ng maraming SIM card?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, wait. So halimbawa ako, pwede ko ako magparehistro sa 10 SIM card using my own name.
That is correct, Your Honor. Mr. Chair.
Okay. And ang problem natin dito is the I really don't know yet what's the solution for this problem that we have encountered sa Pogo because maraming mga na-encounter na SIM that was used in a criminal activity. Most likely we have to discuss this further yung issue ng SIM and yun yung reason kaya namin kayo pinatawag but siguro si Congressman Acop muna ang aking bibigyan ng at gusto ng umuwi. Mag-aalas 6 na raw Totoo naman po at alas 6 na. So ang uli nating interpellator will be our chairman, Congressman Romy Acop. Sir, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chairman Al, hindi po kayo abogado, ano po?
Hindi po.
Pero yung magandang binibini sa tabi nyo, abogado ba?
Abogado po.
Yes. Madam, when the President ordered that we ban all Pogos, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng all Pogos?
I think, sir, all operators that are offering games offshore.
Whether legal or illegal, or whether licensed or unlicensed?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So agree tayo doon. Now, it does not cover yung SCBPO ninyo. Would that be covered?
I think, sir, it's not yet very clear if that will be covered by the prohibition, sir.
Yes, kindly conduct a research on that. Kasi connected din sa gaming yun eh.
Yes,
Kaya
sir.
lang, foreign yung one, di ba?
Sir.
Tama?
Tama po.
Yes. Now, when the President ordered yesterday the banning of all POGOs, is that a policy statement or a law?
I think, sir, it's still a policy at the moment, but once there will be an issuance to its effect, then it may be considered as a law.
Yeah. Because what's presidential decree ba yung charter ninyo?
Yes, sir.
1869.
Yes, sir.
Tama. Pero nowhere in 1869 did it state that you will license offshore gambling. Would that be correct?
There's no explicit mention po
Yes.
of online gaming. Yes, sir.
Now, the POGO operations came under your jurisdiction because of Executive Order Number 13, signed in October 2016.
That is correct, sir.
Tama rin. Pero basahin mo nyo nga po yung Executive Order Number 13. Kung merong provision doon na nagsasabi na kayo po ang magla-license ng offshore gambling. Wala po ano?
Yes, sir. Actually
Yes.
po,
Walang provision dyan specifically stating that PAGCOR should be the one to govern, license offshore gambling. Tama? Wala eh.
Sir, our interpretation of EO13 at that time is that it clarifies the jurisdiction of all gaming authorities that can issue gaming licenses depending on the jurisdiction where the operations is being conducted, sir.
Yes, but was PAGCOR mentioned there in that executive order?
Yes, sir. It's mentioned in the whereas clause.
So
Yes.
whereas, ano sinabi ng whereas? Did it grant you the authority over online gambling operations? It's a whereas clause.
No, sir.
Oh, yes. At least agree tayo doon, ano?
Apo.
So, you do not have any legal basis to have under your jurisdiction licensing of offshore gambling operations. Would you
Sir-
agree with me, Madam?
Sir, I think in the RA 11590 already clarified it, and also in a Supreme Court decision wherein it was wherein a discussion regarding the authority of PAGCOR to license offshore gaming operations was already discussed, sir.
Sa 11590, ano po ang section na nagsasabi na meron po kayong jurisdiction over online gaming operations? Sinasabi lang yata rito na kailangan matax yung offshore gaming operations. As a matter of fact, in this law, yung APECO ay hindi pwedeng mag-issue na ng franchise for online gaming operations. Kaya tama yung manager ng APECO kanina na pinatitigil na niya yon, because under this law, hindi na po sila authorized.
Section 8, Section 8, Congressman.
Be that as it may, Madam, para kuan kasi mga alas 6 na eh. Is there a representative of the Department of Justice here?